Hello, and welcome to HRBC show called Let's Talk. So, if you didn't know, the Honorable Jen Kiggans won her race. So, she's going up to DC. So, that leaves a seat open in the state Senate. Well, guess what? Oh, we have one of the candidates that's running. We have Mr. Kevin Adams. And today we're going to find out, is he the one to vote for? We shall see. Let's talk. So welcome. And you want to tell us a little about yourself?
Okay, yes, absolutely. Kevin Adams, Lieutenant Commander, United States Navy, retired. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Salisbury, Maryland. I went right out of high school, went directly into the Navy. I served 26 years in the Navy. I started out enlisted as a seaman recruit and made Chief Petty Officer in 8 years. And at my 10-year mark, I was commissioned under the Limited Duty Officer Program. And I served the remaining of my 16 years as an officer, served in 11 ships and service craft, and basically uh, involved in every armed conflict from Urgent Fury and Grenada to Operation Enduring Freedom, which our ship conducted the first combat operation of that war. In the Navy, basically, if you want to ask what I did, I essentially repaired ships, trained personnel, and I went to war. That's essentially what I did in the Navy. I met my wife in Annapolis. Sheila and I have been married for 36 years. We're proud parents of 9 children. I have six boys and 3 girls. My youngest is 18, and my oldest is 34. We've resided in Virginia Beach for the last 22 years. After I retired out of the Navy, I started a small handyman service. I'm a contractor, and I've been serving Hampton Roads for the last 15 years in that capacity.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So I got a few questions for you. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right. Here we go. How will you support economic improvement in African American community?
Okay, first of all, how I would solve that is we have to make sure that we grow an economy. It is absolutely imperative that we grow an economy which will allow us to be able to have jobs available. Which means is that we have to make sure that our education here in the Commonwealth is the best. We have to make sure that our children are learning learning the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that they're critical thinkers. They have to be able to process things. We want to make them to learn how to think critically, and not to essentially just be taught what to think. That's important for them to be able to go into 3 avenues. I think that we're uniquely fit for someone to go to community college and then go up through that avenue, or perhaps like I did, go into the Navy. But most importantly, here in Hampton Roads, we need job skills, and that's where it comes in. When, as a contractor here, I'm an old guy, and most of the folks that do this type of work are my age, and we don't have apprenticeships and people that are coming into that industry. These are great paying jobs, and you don't have to have a college degree. All you have to do is have those skills. And in my industry, every day there's contractors that are screaming for those skills, and some even are saying, basically, I don't want you to know anything, just come here and I'll teach you from scratch. Those are the types of opportunities that I want to promote, because those are the opportunities that allow everybody to be able to make a decent living here, and contribute to the community and to the economy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So, as a veteran, would you support military retirement pay not being taxed?
absolutely. When I retired from the Navy, I mentioned that I had 9 children, right?
Mhm.
I lost, I think I calculated around 45% of my income. So I immediately had to go to work. Well, I used the skills that I learned basically from my earlier years to be able to create a business. And I think that that's the most important thing that we have going for us, is that in Virginia we should make creating a business the easiest thing for everybody, and that will allow every community to be able to change the trajectory of their families and their lifestyles. As I get around Hampton Roads and see there is all types of job opportunities, and we just need to make that easier from a business standpoint. And that's what we can do in the General Assembly up there. We can making businesses a lot easier to get into, because there is a need for a little bit of everything. And I think we have the talent here to do that. But going back to the basic education, that's imperative. I mean, our children need to have those fundamentals, and I'm real concerned about them making sure that they get those fundamentals, so they have those three opportunities, which of course gives us economic growth here in Hampton Roads. It allows us to be able um, to have the skills necessary to do the industries that we have, and we have all types of industries here, because we want to be able to bring industries in, and you can't bring industries into a community if you don't have the skills. Baltimore is a good example of that. I just leave it at that.
Okay. All right. How do you feel about ending the monopoly that Dominion Energy has here in Virginia and forcing competitive pricing for the citizens? They have like double the price of electricity, and no one seems to care about the strain that it is putting on, um, not just the lower income communities, but the income communities are suffering as well.
Well, I truly believe that some of the policies that have been done with this New Deal. One thing particularly that affects me, I'll tell you straight up, is we didn't pump fuel. We should have been pumping fuel in the United States. We can be energy independent, and when energy is flowing, it increases the economy. Just give you an example. At one point, I was filling up. I fill up every 3 days. At 62, I have a big 2,500 truck that I pull a trailer with. Every 3 days, I fill up. It was $62. I got up to the point where it was $135 to do that. As a contractor, I have to pass that on to my customers. And every other business, when I go into Home Depot to get materials, I'm watching them literally change the prices, because the cost of freight to move things. Energy is one of the largest producers of inflation. And when we have the opportunity to do that, as far as use the energies that we already have here now, these renewable energies, those things are great, but we have to make sure that those things are implemented in a way that it doesn't hurt our economy as it is right now. And currently, it is hurting our economy. And guess what? It is hurting really the incomes that the lower incomes. But I will tell you from experience, it's hurting every income. Everybody's paying attention to this. So I think that this is something that we can definitely do better at, and it starts from the top. I mean, we really have to get energy independent again. And as a contractor and as a a public official, that's something I would definitely advocate
Okay. What do you think about the healthcare system for our elderly citizens, and how would you improve it?
Well, first of all, my heart goes out to the elderly, particularly when you start looking at the economy and how it really affects, their decisions as far as healthcare is concerned. Again, unfortunately, everything goes back to the economy because it is a big deal. I think that we need to force competition. Competition always drives down prices. Um, you start opening the free markets up, people will innovate, they'll make things better, and they'll make products that will support the need better than and that of course will give more opportunities to our senior citizens, and I think provide a better service. When you have competition, everybody wants to be the best, right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be the best, and by them being the best, that will lower prices, and that will allow a better service. I can tell you that from experience. Because if when you're good, people are going to use you, and if you got a good price, they're going to use you all the time. So that's just simple economics.
Okay. All right. Talk to us about your stance on abortion laws in Virginia. Would you do a complete ban?
No, I'm pro-life with exceptions of rape, incest, and health of the mother. I support Governor Youngkin's position on this issue. I think I think we can find some common sense issues. I I'm definitely against you know I'm pausing a minute because I'm thinking personal things in my life, and see, I'm a legislator right now, and I have to think about the people. And I'll just stop. I'll just stay right there. We have to be concerned about the mother, and we have to be concerned about the mother's the unborn child. So, at my position stands. I support Governor Youngkin's position on this issue.
Okay. All right. So lately, speaking of Governor Youngkin,
Yes.
lately Governor Youngkin is catching heat for that proposed education plan they put out. What are your thoughts on it and how it can be adjusted?
Well, and looking at the big, looking at the big picture as far as education is concerned, and of course, raising 9 children, that's a big issue because that definitely changes the whole dynamic. Um, and our public schools have to work, and they have to work um, very efficiently. I was actually talking to a public school teacher just this morning about that. And we have to innovate. Most importantly, we have to make sure that we have the best of the best teachers that are teaching our children, so that they learn those skills that I mentioned earlier when we're talking about the economics. Because at the end of the day, our education has to serve the environment that we're in, and that environment that we're in is the Commonwealth of Virginia. We have to have skilled professionals, whether they're when I say really skilled person, like plumbers, electricians, that can serve an economy that will allow businesses to come here and innovate. And we have to make sure that those things are looked at, because if you don't have an environment where businesses want to come in, what winds up happening is, you know, over time, you don't have the infrastructure of jobs to even support your community. We have an advantage because we have a huge waterfront and a tourism, but we still have to have things here that for infrastructure, so that we have the revenues and the tax bases to support education and those issues that are very important, and those tabletop issues that are important to all of our citizens here. But it is very important that we have those issues, because that's the having a robust economy and having the education base in our children, so that they can and our workers, skilled workers, that will allow us to be able to create an environment where we can continue to increase the economy. As I mentioned earlier, I left an economy. Um, I left an economy when I came in the Navy that was dying, simply because the education system there was not providing the skill sets so that people could move on.
Okay, okay. So some Virginia Beach citizens feel like when they reach out to their legislators
Mhm.
representation,
Mhm.
they are ignored and that no one ever gets back to them.
Well,
So
yes.
how do you plan to keep your citizens engaged
Well, well,
and
thank.
informed?
I'm glad you asked that question. I've been in business for 15 years, and I've never advertised. Matter of fact, all of these companies that want contractors to work for them, they call me all the time. You call me 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm generally putting my pants on, because I know that you need me. And that's the same type of spirit that I want to take to Richmond. You're hiring me to work for you. That's I'm going to work for you, just as I did in my business, just as I served in the military. I have I have a long history, 43 years of serving people, and people are our best asset. When people trust and believe in you, they will help you. I'll just give you this for instance. When I got to the point where I was going to run for office, it was during a time where everybody was running for office and getting funded was absolutely impossible for me. I just went out to my customers. I says, "Look, I'm running for office, and what do you think?" And within a few days, I had plenty of cash because they believe in me, and the people that I'm going to serve here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, they're going to believe in me also, because when they call me, I'm going to give them some type of answer. They will get a response from me.
Okay, we're gonna hold you to
Absolutely.
that. You remember that these are on YouTube, so people will be able to see it
I
forever.
wanted to. I wanted to.
All right. So here's my last question. If elected, what are your top 3 goals that you hope to accomplish?
Well, the top 3 goals, and I've been talking about the economy the whole time. I want to lower taxes. I want to lower regulations. I want to make it so that Virginia is the place where everybody wants to come, not just a vacation. They want to live here. I want to make sure I keep our veterans here. Therefore, I want to make sure that there's jobs that are going to be available for them, so that they can thrive and be here. But one of the number one things, and we're hearing about it all the time, is public safety. We have to make sure that every environment is safe, every community is safe. Whether you're going to the store, whether you're walking through your neighborhood, we have to make our communities safe. So I will do everything. For one, I will support 100% the police to make sure that they have the resources and the personnel to be able to do that job and do it efficiently, so that serves all of our communities. That is very important, because without the safety portion, without the job skills, without the economy working properly, we don't have an environment that is going to bring economic growth to everybody. So those are the things that I want to make sure that we address. And it's a complicated problem, but it's doable. Just like every small business, you have to take what you have and you have to work with it. And a lot of times you're gonna have to maybe not compromise, but you're going to have to make concessions towards the greater goal. And I've been working with people all of my life. I mean, I've trained thousands and thousands of people in the Navy, and I've worked with people, and I'm a people person. I can find something good in everybody, and I can find their worth in people. And I think that that's very important. That first of all, people trust you, that you're honest, and you have integrity. And those are my values. Those are my core values.
Okay. All right. Well, those are all the questions that I have. Is there anything else you would like to tell the people?
Well, what I would like to tell you is that the contrast. There's a distinct contrast between me and the person that's running against me. And all I ask is that you go and just check it out. The most informed voter gets the best results when they are when they're voting. So, I would say vote early. Um, the election is the 10th of January. Get out and vote early, and do that because you can get around the holidays and everything, so you don't have to deal with that. And but most importantly, be informed. That's the ending message I would say. Be informed. Check me out, and I look forward to serving you in the General Assembly come January. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming. If so, we don't have any questions from the audience, so that's it.
Okay. Well,
Thank y'all for joining me.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
All righty. Bye bye.